Craigslist is filled with scams? What? I would have never known that. What's up, everyone, and welcome. In this episode, we are going to talk about Craigslist and a new method used by the evil guys to trick you into installing malware onto your machine. As usual, we'll go through the story, see what we can learn, and then relate those learnings to our current security plans, policies, and processes.
Oh, drat these computers. They're so naughty and so complex. I could pinch them.
Before we get into the story, let's first have a visual look at what this is all about, so when we look at the story, we can better understand the individual pieces. So, we bring out our old friend Vlad the attacker. Now, the attacker starts with sending an email through the legitimate mail system from Craigslist to an unsuspecting user. The email has a message saying, "One of your listings has broken the rules or the terms and conditions of Craigslist. If you don't do something immediately, your account will be deleted." Now, the email has a link for the victim to click on. Of course, being concerned, the victim clicks on the link. The link will lead a user to a Microsoft OneDrive page where the document lives. This trick fools browsers and antivirus software, since they would never list Microsoft OneDrive as a malicious site, right? I mean, it's not like it's some newly created sketchy subdomain like one.drive.hackerdomain.org or something like that. So, the victim is on the site, they click, it triggers a download of a zip file, which inside is a Excel document, and what the unsuspecting victim does not know is that the document they download, and the one they're about to open, is malicious, and it'll ask them to enable editing or enable content. Now, when they enable these macros for this document, the document can then call a malicious URL, download a payload, and poof, they have a backdoor, keylogger, a credential stealer, or maybe even worse, ransomware on the system. Now, if you recall, I did an episode about malicious PDFs explaining exactly how the combination of potentially a legitimate PDF or legitimate document like a Word document or an Excel document is injected with a malicious payload or a malicious file or a malicious macro. So in case you didn't see that, the link to that episode is here above, and it'll be pinned in the comment section below. So let's get into the story. Musical instruments, motorcycle parts, and now malware? Craigslist really does have it all. Not very funny, but, that was in the story. The Craigslist internal email system was hijacked by attackers this month to deliver convincing messages ultimately aimed at avoiding Microsoft Office security controls in order to deliver malware.
Happy birthday, you thing from another world, you.
Oh, thank you.
Sent from an authentic Craigslist IP address, the emails informed users that one of their published ads included inappropriate content and violated Craigslist terms and conditions, giving false instructions on how to avoid having their accounts deleted. Researchers at INKY discovered that the attackers manipulated the email's HTML into a customized document with a malware download link uploaded to a Microsoft OneDrive page. That page impersonated major brands like DocuSign, Norton, and Microsoft, that also allowed the campaign to slip past standard email authentication. Since the URL to resolve the issue hosted a customized document placed on Microsoft OneDrive, it did not appear on any threat intelligence feed, allowing it to slip past most security vendors, the researchers noted in a posting this week. Craigslist is more than one gigantic yard sale. Its internal email system also lets interested buyers and sellers contact each other anonymously. According to INKY's report, threat actors were able to abuse that Craigslist email system so as to deliver authentic-looking phishing emails to users who were actively trying to sell something on the site. That means victims were likely already fielding random inquiries from the Craigslist system, so the malicious emails simply blended in. Craigslist knows the identities of everyone, but unless a correspondent discloses details, they are perfectly anonymous to others on the system. This situation suits phishers just fine. They can shoot their poison arrows from behind a local mail proxy, and shoot they did, a number of times in October. The phishing emails looked like a notice from Craigslist that the user's ad contained inappropriate content. The letter then threatened to ban the user from the platform unless they filled out a form accessed by a malicious link. Our platform's content publishing policy explicitly prohibits inappropriate content. Your ad has received many red flags, the email read. A more detailed description of the problem is available in this form. It'll be available for 24 hours. Clicking on the form took users to a Microsoft OneDrive document it could explain. It appears as if bad actors were able to manipulate the email's HTML to create that button and link it to OneDrive, the researchers noted. Hovering over the link revealed a Russian domain, mygeno.ru. Clicking on the link initiated a .zip file download containing a macro-enabled spreadsheet that delivered malware. To get around Microsoft Office security controls and run the macros, the malicious documents prompted victims to click on a button to enable editing or enable content. The spreadsheet impersonated DocuSign and also used Norton and Microsoft logos to imply that the file was safe. According to the report, DocuSign does not, in fact, have a service called DocuSign Protect Service. When the INKY team tried to get the malware to work, it led to a 404 error message, which the team surmised is either a mistake by the attackers or an indication that they had already been found out and taken down by the host. Nonetheless, the INKY team said this Craigslist host attack could have been used to install a remote access tool, or RAT, launch a ransomware attack, implement first-stage implant like TrickBot, exfiltrate sensitive data, or deploy a keylogger, as I mentioned earlier in this episode. INKY advised Craigslist users to be on the lookout for these kinds of attacks and added that any emails that seem unusual should be viewed as potentially malicious. Another red flag is the mixing of platforms, the analyst added. It doesn't make sense to resolve a Craigslist issue through a document uploaded to OneDrive. Duh. So, what can we learn? Again, as in many of my episodes, education here is key. How do these attackers fool us? They send an email from a legit Craigslist IP and dupe us into downloading some malware crap. Now, if within our security education policies we state bookmark important websites and do not click on links in emails, only visit websites via bookmarks, well then fewer people would be duped by this malicious attack, alright? Now, as for Craigslist, most of us have known that there are plenty of scams posted on Craigslist trying to dupe you into revealing personal information or paying for junk that doesn't work or something that you'll never receive anyway, or stalking young girls. Now, the list goes on and 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 on. But this new turn of events deals with a direct flaw in Craigslist's infrastructure. This shows a glaring flaw in Craigslist's internal threat modeling and security testing. I'll admit, we all take mailing systems for granted. We set them up and then, kind of forget about them and because of solutions, because they just work. But Craigslist has a more complex system that allows anonymity in communication between people, so it is not an out-of-the-box system. This non-standard system should have popped up in their threat models, and they should have created numerous threat tests to ensure it cannot be abused in this kind of fashion. So with that, I say thanks for watching. Don't forget to share and subscribe if you haven't already, and smash the bell if you haven't already, and I'll see you on the next episode. Take care.
Don't forget to ride.